Hello. Thank you so much for joining us, and a big thank you to my wonderful friends at the CruiseWeb for organizing this and inviting me to present to all of you and to take you on a virtual cruise with Holland America Line. I have been looking forward to this presentation. When I was asked about doing this presentation, I had to take a minute to gather my thoughts and think about what I wanted to do here. I wanted to paint a picture of what Holland America Line's Alaska looks like, and this can definitely be a challenge through a computer screen. But I will tell you, this presentation is going to be fun, it's going to be lighthearted, and whether you've been on 500 cruises or no cruises, I hope I can help you escape for a little bit. I am the mom to two small children, and in particular, my 3.5-year-old is extremely imaginative. We are always acting out scenarios or pretending to be different characters. So in thinking through this presentation, I borrowed a little bit of Paloma's imagination. These times that we are currently living through are challenging and certainly character building. I love my home, but I am tired of being in it. I love my children, but I also love my time away from my children. And I would really love to get away. While we can't sail right now, when the time is right, I know that all of us can't wait to start exploring the world again. So since we're all here right now, I'm thinking, let's go somewhere and temporarily forget about where we have or have not been recently, and let's start thinking about where we are going to go. Whether you're a cruising novice or an aficionado, packing can be a daunting task for even the savviest traveler, so let's start there. Now, this trip is a bit more casual than most cruises, but many cruisers still like to get dressed up for dinners on board the ship, so I would probably bring a mix of clothing. For exploring, you are definitely going to want to pack layers. Be sure you bring comfortable walking shoes, and I would definitely recommend bringing an extra pair just in case. You may not need it, but it's always good to pack a hat and gloves. And of course, make sure you grab your passport. Time to head out of here, so let's go hop on a plane. I'm imagining a private jet here because that's what I would definitely pick, but you can imagine that you're flying on whatever your airline of choice is. There are plenty of flights to get you to our embarkation port, whether that is Seattle, Vancouver, or Anchorage. It depends on which itinerary you choose. If you're feeling extra adventurous, we can definitely drive, but we would need days and a lot of snacks, so I don't necessarily love this idea, but to each his own. Or if you are the imaginative type, we can definitely teleport. Remember, this is a virtual trip we are taking here, so how we get there and what we do is really up to your imagination. But regardless of how we get there, we are traveling so that we can board a magical vessel that's going to transport us to the beautiful, magnificent last frontier known as Alaska. Now, why Alaska? In my opinion, Alaska is the ultimate cruise. The scenery is breathtaking. The Inside Passage has thousands of islands and hundreds of miles of lush rainforest shoreline with mountains that rise up to 3,000 feet straight from the sea. And of course, there's the wildlife, orcas, humpback whales, and dolphins that can be spotted from the decks of cruise ships. But of course, one of the best reasons to cruise in Alaska is the glacier viewing. With over 100,000 glaciers, many of them are inaccessible any other way except via ship. So let's board our beautiful Holland America Line cruise ship and get going. Now, we have 7 ships that sail during our Alaska season, which is from May to September, and there are a wide range of itineraries just when it comes to cruising alone. We also offer land journeys that can be combined with your cruise, but I will dive into that a little bit more later. Today, we're primarily going to focus on just the Alaska cruises. Here are a few quick examples of our standard 7-day cruises. The first shows a round-trip Vancouver sailing, and the second 2 itineraries are round-trip Seattle. On this slide, you will see examples of our open jaw itineraries, which in case you aren't familiar with that terminology, it just means you're traveling one way. Personally, I love open jaw itineraries because you have the opportunity to see and experience more. For these trips, you are traveling one way from Vancouver to Seward, which is the port closest to Anchorage, or vice versa. It's perfect if you're looking to combine a cruise with a land journey. And for those of you that are fortunate enough to have more time to spend traveling, we do offer longer cruises. So you can definitely look at our 14-day Great Alaskan Explorer itinerary that you see here. Regardless of which cruise you choose to take, I'm going to tell you a little bit about all of the places that you can see depending on your itinerary. So let's go. We've got a cruise to go enjoy. Cheers to you and welcome to the start of our virtual Alaska vacation, where we are going to enjoy the best service at sea. Our crew is focused on every detail, every day, and they truly want to make sure that you enjoy your well-deserved vacation. Now, every time I cruise, I'm always very eager to check out my room as soon as I get on board. So let's quickly go take a peek at our Neptune suite. These spacious suites are flooded with light. They feature a large sitting area, as you can see over there, and 2 lower beds that convert into a king-sized signature Mariner's Dream bed with a Euro top plush mattress. And the bathroom. It comes with a dual sink vanity. Some suites have shower-only options, while others have a full-size whirlpool bath and shower. Since we're staying in a Neptune suite, we will also have access to the exclusive Neptune Lounge, a private concierge, and an array of complimentary services. Now, if you aren't interested in staying in a suite, we do have many different options for accommodations, but something I will tell you is I always recommend that, especially when doing an Alaska cruise, book a veranda. There is so much to see, and I love having the option of enjoying it from the privacy of my own balcony. That said, it's actually time for us to make our first decision. Should we head up to the Seaview pool for a sail-away glass of champagne, or should we enjoy our own bottle from the privacy of our veranda? I say we stay on the veranda, and let's really just enjoy the moment. Close your eyes and feel the sun on your face and the ocean breeze, as well as the smell of the ocean as we finally are out and departing on our Alaskan adventure. Why did I choose to bring you on a Holland America Line cruise? Our cruise line is dedicated to explorers, foodies, and music lovers who want to pursue these passions on perfectly sized, refreshingly uncrowded ships filled with one-of-a-kind experiences. For individuals who don't need water slides, roller coasters, and go-karts, the people that know that bigger isn't better, better is better. But wait a minute, I'm getting a little bit hungry, so can we start talking about what our food options are for this evening? Now, as I mentioned, Holland America Line is for foodies, dedicated to the food lover who wants unrivaled experiences in food, wine, and spirits, both on ship and on shore. And there are plenty of dining options. I'm torn between a few for this evening, so I need your help deciding. We could go to the dining room. It's Holland America's flagship dining experience and is a welcoming and sophisticated setting for an exquisite breakfast, lunch, or superb multi-course dinner. I saw there was a burrata salad on the menu tonight, and it sounded amazing. The Pinnacle Grill would be amazing too. It's the ultimate steakhouse at sea where impeccable steak, seafood, and wine make for one of the finest meals you'll ever have, on land or at sea. The steak is always cooked to perfection, and the side dishes never disappoint. There's also Tamarind, praised by Condé Nast Traveler for cuisine that rivals the top restaurants on land, and it's the perfect place to explore the culinary traditions of Southeast Asia, China, and Japan. The menu, which honors the elements of water, wood, fire, and earth, feature many, many options for exotic fare. I could always go for a meal at Canaletto, a relaxed setting with authentic Italian cuisine. And I can already taste the grilled lamb chops and tiramisu. So I'm going to go ahead and make the executive decision that for tonight, let's go to Canaletto. I promise to share, and I'll let you pick the restaurant for tomorrow evening. And of course, while we're talking about food, we cannot forget wine. Let's plan on checking out Blend, where wine connoisseurs and novices alike can experience the art of winemaking. The first of its kind for Holland America Line and the only purpose-built wine blending venue at sea, Blend has a tasting table that accommodates 10 guests who can create their own blend from a selection of 5 barrels of single vineyard red wine. In addition to participating in the blending process, guests also will learn about wine from the ship's wine expert who leads the blending session. While I'm thinking about it now, we definitely need to start planning out our shore excursions and the other activities that we're going to do throughout the week. So I really think we should go check out the Exploration Central Discovery Center. Now, I mentioned quite a bit back at this point that Holland America Line is dedicated to explorers. And when explorers want to travel, they really want to immerse themselves in the destinations and make genuine connections. And that's where Holland America's Explorations Central program comes into play, and it's what it allows them to do. So while we are here, let's quickly run through the 4 different components that this makes up. Our Exploration Central guides. These individuals will help you gain insights about everything from good manners and simple, useful phrases to the best tours, most popular sites, and insider tips. Our Exploration Central encounters. Delve into each destination's cultures with local experts, artists, and performers all on board the ship. Our Exploration Central talks. These talks help deepen your appreciation of each new destination with the kinds of tales that only locals know. And our shore excursions. They're designed to enhance your travel experience when in port, and they enable you to encounter fascinating cultures, places, and people in a way that is comfortable, authentic, and transformative. So now's actually a great time to start talking about some of the places we can go, as well as just a small peek into some of the things that we can do. Now remember, each itinerary is going to be different, so you may not see all of these ports depending on where you choose. One of the ports that you may visit on your Alaska cruise is Haines. There's a reason Haines is known as the adventure capital of Alaska. Although many cities in Alaska feel different than those in the lower 48, Haines is more unusual than most with its unique rustic feel. It's almost as if time has stopped and chain stores and even stoplights haven't infiltrated this town of 1,300 people that once topped Outside Magazine's list of 20 best places to live and play. Haines is known as a haven for artists and nature lovers and is visited by far fewer cruise ships than other Alaskan coastal cities. Or your itinerary might include Homer. This plucky little town sells end-of-the-road certificates to visitors who've motored here to the furthest reach of the Kenai Peninsula. It's something worth celebrating, a drive down the world's longest street that protrudes into the ocean. But walkers, bikers, and inline skaters can also experience the thrill thanks to the 6.5 kilometer, or 4 mile, paved multi-use trail. The rich fishing grounds here attracted Native Alaskans centuries before Captain Cook claimed the Kenai Peninsula for Britain in 1778. After some Russian tyranny, fur traders forced Native Alaskans to hunt sea otter pelts for them. Homer got a proper start as an English-settled coal mining town in the 1890s. Juneau may well be the most remote, most beautiful, and strangest state capital in the United States. Surrounded by water, forest, and mountain sites, Visitors seeking things to do in Juneau indoors and outdoors can hike a glacier, eat fresh caught fish on a seaside patio, and tour a grand Capitol building all in one day. The city itself is pleasant, but the real highlight of a visit to Juneau is tracking down some wildlife. You can hike up Mount Roberts to chance upon wild deer and bald eagles, or take a trip to visit the majestic yet vanishing Mendenhall Glacier. Ketchikan has long been an important hub of the salmon fishing and salmon packing industries. Visitors can try their luck on a sport fishing excursion or simply savor the fresh seafood at one of the local restaurants. It is also one of the best spots along the Inside Passage to explore the rich cultural sites of Native Alaskan nations. You can see intricately carved totem poles at the Totem Heritage Center. One of South Central Alaska's oldest communities, Seward, is ground zero for Klondike Gold Rush's Iditarod National Historic Trail, a dog sled route that connected the Kenai Peninsula's ice-free port with Nome during frontier-era winters. Natives and explorers from Russia, Britain, and the US all frequented this area before Seward's official founding in 1903. Today, this mellow town welcomes visitors to Resurrection Bay and Kenai Fjords National Park, not to mention the 204-kilometer, or 127-mile, Seward Highway stretching north to Anchorage. In Sitka, you will see the traces of Russia's influence, including the unmistakable onion dome of St. Michael's Cathedral and the Russian Bishop's House, both National Historic Landmarks. Sitka also boasts an abundance of epic natural scenery and wildlife. Castle Hill provides an ideal vantage point across the water to the dormant volcano, Mount Edgecumbe, and trips to the nearby Fortress of the Bear and the Alaska Raptor Center offer up-close encounters with some of Alaska's most captivating creatures. At the height of the Klondike Gold Rush, the port of Skagway served as the primary gateway to the legendary gold fields and quickly grew into Alaska's largest settlement. At every turn, you'll find yourself immersed in Gold Rush lore, from the infamous Red Onion Saloon that still keeps a pistol that Wyatt Earp left behind en route to the Klondike, to the White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad, a classic narrow gauge railway that traverses rugged mountains and passes cascading waterfalls and towering glaciers as it connects Skagway to Whitehorse deep in the Yukon. Much of the town has been preserved as part of the Klondike Gold Rush National Historical Park, where rangers offer free walking tours around the historic district. A paradise for fishing enthusiasts, Valdez offers every kind of salmon, huge halibut, and ample opportunity to reel them in. Rivers and streams spill into the sound here and are ideal for kayaking. And of course, what is a trip to Alaska without a visit to Glacier Bay National Park? Frosted crags descend and a 457-meter deep, or 1,500 feet deep, fjord at this World Heritage Site is also one of the planet's largest biosphere reserves. Stone, ice, and water continue to collide, sculpting a dramatic landscape that is the crown jewel of southeastern Alaska's natural wonders. While the national park is open year-round, most travelers prefer to visit exactly during our season, which is from May into early September. Even in summer, though, be prepared for any weather, especially rain. Of all the cities in Canada, Victoria may be the furthest from Great Britain, but it has the most British vibe. Between sipping afternoon tea, visiting flower gardens and castles, and stopping in at pubs, one could very easily forget about the Pacific Ocean lapping at the other side of Vancouver Island. The influence of the First Nations culture is also strong here in Victoria, with totem poles taking a front and center position on the Inner Harbor and in Beacon Hill Park. Extensive galleries are devoted to the history of the first people at the Royal British Columbia Museum too, one of Victoria's top tourist attractions. Other waves of immigration besides that of the English are definitely evident in the streets of Canada's oldest Chinatown, which is here, as well as one of the menus of some of the best restaurants, pizzerias, and taverns. And of course, There are also fantastic shore excursions regardless of which of these cities you visit on your Alaska cruise. One that I particularly love is the Alaska Fishing and Wilderness Dining in partnership with Food and Wine magazine. This excursion is perfect for serious fishers and also for families that are seeking a personalized tour. It's customized for your interest and fishing skill level with just 6 guests per boat. At the marina, you're outfitted head to toe. You board an open-air skiff and glide into a breathtaking landscape of secluded locations, ideal for wildlife viewing and remote fishing. You may catch salmon or halibut, Dungeness crab, or some of the 50+ species that are in these waters. Now, after you're done fishing, at a wilderness campsite, a crackling fire awaits where you'll settle into the stillness of the rainforest, rest on a beach log, and breathe deeply amongst centuries-old spruce trees and fragrant cedars. A wilderness dining chef celebrates your catch with a meal featuring the fish that you just caught. It doesn't get fresher than this. If fishing isn't your speed, but you still want to enjoy some of the fantastic fish that can be found in Alaska, you can choose to do an all-you-can-eat salmon bake feast. You savor Alaskan-caught wild salmon barbecued over an open alderwood fire, served with a tasty secret sauce and accompanied by things such as Parmesan chicken, cheesy au gratin potatoes, baked beans with reindeer sausage, wild rice pilaf, a variety of salads, cornbread, and other refreshments. Or maybe you are up for adventure. And for that, we have our wilderness sea kayaking adventure, where you embark on an exhilarating 3-hour adventure along the ruggedly beautiful Alaska coastline. You'll take a scenic cruise to get to the floating kayak base camp tucked away in a picturesque cove. Here, you'll hop in a 2-person kayak and follow your knowledgeable guide through tranquil waterways and learn about the spectacular marine environment that surrounds you. You'll paddle through mazes of reef and kelp forest filled with colorful marine life, and you'll glide past lush coastal rainforest and view the area's abundant wildlife. You may spot playful sea lions, soaring eagles, brown bears, or even Sitka black-tailed deer. You can also do dog sledding and glacier helicopter flight seeing, where after flying over spectacular glaciers, you will land at a dog camp situated atop a majestic glacier above Skagway. Meet the professional mushers and friendly dogs that have made the Iditarod dog race a world-famous event. The young and young at heart will have the opportunity to stand on the sled and mush. Others can simply relax on the sled and observe the breathtaking environment. The shore excursion possibilities are truly endless, and there really is something for everyone. But I still haven't answered the question for you of why Alaska with Holland America. When it comes to Alaska, well, quite simply, we are Alaska. With unmatched experience and insider knowledge, Holland America is the Alaska expert. Our deep history and roots in the great land mean you will discover the iconic and authentic Alaska, from Glacier Bay National Park and Denali National Park and Preserve to the wild Yukon Territory. Only Holland America Line has been taking guests to Alaska for more than 70 years. This is longer than Alaska has been a state. So here are a few quick points of what makes Holland America Line's Alaska different from other competitors. Well, first of all, we already discussed this earlier, but we do have more ships in Alaska, including Koningsdam, which is a Pinnacle class ship this year. We have the largest selection of itineraries that include Glacier Bay National Park. We have more glacier viewing options. Every single cruise is going to include at least one of these ice features listed here, if not more than one. If you are interested in doing a land tour, we own all of the hotels, rail cars, and motor coaches So we know what kind of quality you're going to get, and we also are on our own schedule, not the schedule of a third party. We are the only cruise line that offers up to 3 nights at Denali. Now, if you've been to Alaska, you already know 1 night or even 2 nights really is a disservice to Denali National Park. In my opinion, 3 nights is a perfect amount of time to spend here. And we are the only cruise line that visits the Yukon, the heart of the Klondike Gold Rush. Some of you may not be super familiar with Yukon, so I wanted to point out where exactly that is. And you can see here on this page, just one of the itineraries that features a land and sea journey together. When you're also combining the land piece, you're able to experience Denali National Park, as I already mentioned. If you visit Fairbanks, there is a chance, especially later in the season, that you can see the Northern Lights. It's never guaranteed, but your increased chance occurs probably from about mid-August through the end of our season. But wait a minute. Let's remember here that we are still on the ship, and I definitely hear music. So let's go see what the music is all about at Holland America Line. A great cruise deserves a great soundtrack with the best in live music. Only Holland America offers so many opportunities to enjoy memorable performances from world-class musicians. Days and nights are filled with lively, soul-stirring music by an all-star cast of musicians. There's music for every taste, such as B.B. King's Blues Club, where the music goes from funky and fast to soulful and smooth. We have an exclusive partnership with the world's leading center for the performing arts, Lincoln Center Stage, and our ships showcase outstanding musicians performing multiple programs of chamber music most evenings, as well as afternoon recitals during leisurely days at sea. BBC Earth Experiences. So we offer Alaska-themed entertainment and programming designed to enhance your exploration, including experienced onboard naturalists and discussions with local tribal members, or Alaska in Concert by BBC Earth Experiences. Rolling Stone Rock Room is a new classic rock club developed in partnership with Rolling Stone Magazine, the authority on rock history. Rolling Stone Rock Room will feature a live band playing iconic hits by some of music's favorite stars. It's the newest addition to our music walk, and it debuted on New Statendam and Koningsdam. And of course, we also have Billboard On Board, where 50 years of chart-topping hits rock the house as 2 piano players play music that you will know and love. It's all part of Billboard On Board, an interactive experience made possible by a partnership with Billboard, the leading global destination for charts, news, trends, and innovation in music. And honestly, there are even more live music options on board, but I promised I would keep this presentation short, and we don't have enough time to go through everything. So let's spend a little bit of time enjoying the lively music walk. But while the music is going to keep going into the wee hours of the night, we have to remember that the true Alaska awaits. It's been fun showing you around the ship and telling you all about Holland America Line, but we definitely need to get some sleep because Alaska is waiting and we do not want to miss a minute of the adventure. Now, if Alaska isn't on your bucket list, I'm so sorry that you spent time listening to me discuss it, but hopefully you learned a bit about Holland America Line cruises. And I just wanted to show you that Holland America Line can take you pretty much anywhere you can imagine. We offer over 500 itineraries and we visit over 470 ports around the world. From exploring Europe to sailing around the world, you can do it with Holland America Line. Thank you so much for joining. This concludes the presentation, and I am going to take a few moments here to answer a few of the questions that have come through. If I do not get to your question, please feel free to call the CruiseWeb directly or the cruise consultant that you work with so that those questions can be answered. And hopefully I look forward to welcoming you on a Holland America Line cruise soon. So from the question perspective, I'm just going to go ahead and start answering through some of them here. Is one side of the ship better for cruising the inside passage? The answer to that is no. You are going to see land on both sides of the ship. Our captains are extremely aware that this is a concern for the guests. So if there is something unique going on one side of the ship, they will frequently turn the ship to make sure that everyone gets a view. Okay, the next question. For cruise tours, is it better to do the cruise or land portion first? Okay, so if you are going to do a land and sea journey, it honestly depends on your personal preference. A lot of people will say that they want to cruise last so that they can end their trip on a relaxing note, but other people just as equally like to do the cruise first so that they're able to decompress from the stresses of daily life and be rested for that adventurous portion on land. So I would keep both of those things in consideration when deciding which option is the best for you. Are Holland America's Alaska cruises good for limited mobility or handicapped guests? Are excursions handicap accessible? So the shore excursion descriptions will list where there is a lot of walking and if there would potentially be mobility issues. If you do have concerns about mobility, I would recommend that you work directly with your travel advisor so that they can work with Holland America's team just to make sure that we can meet all of your needs and deliver you a fantastic vacation experience. Can I see the Northern Lights on a Holland America Alaska cruise or cruise tour? If so, when? So we already touched on this in the presentation. It's never guaranteed, but the farther north you are, the better. So if you are doing a land and sea journey and passing through Fairbanks, there definitely is a chance because their aurora season starts around mid-August and goes all the way until about mid-April. Of course, we don't cruise there until mid-April. Our season ends in the middle of September, but if you go in that 1 month window of mid-August to mid-September, there's certainly a chance that you can experience it. Will we get to see Mount Denali on a cruise? No, unfortunately. You would have to do a land and sea journey, which as we mentioned earlier is when you combine the cruise with a land tour. And I also said this earlier, but I do highly recommend that if you are going to go to Alaska, that you do both. Let's see. Can you actually see wildlife from the ship? You definitely can. I have seen whales, seals, eagles, otters. You really just have to be looking. And that's also why I recommend getting a veranda so you can spend as much time looking as possible. What is the dress code for Holland America Alaska cruises? Okay, so we did touch on this in the beginning. It is a bit more casual. Personally, I found it to be more casual. Many people do still dress up for dinner in the evening, so if you are one of those people, I would recommend bringing both options. Are Holland America's Alaska cruises suitable for families with kids, and does age matter? I 100% would recommend taking kids to Alaska. I traveled last year with my 6-month-old and my 2.5-year-old, and we had a fantastic time. I definitely would not recommend a land tour for young children. When it comes to cruising, children do need to be 6 months at a minimum at the time of sailing, but Alaska really can be a great choice for families. Okay, I'm coming up on time here, so I am gonna take one more question. If I'm prone to seasickness, will that be an issue cruising Alaska? Personally, no, but with anything, I always advise everyone, come prepared. If you know that you do have some motion sickness or you're nervous about experiencing seasickness, I would just bring something with me just in case. This is your vacation that you worked really hard for and you earned to be on, so we want to make sure that you have the best experience possible. So thank you so much again for joining. Wishing you health, wishing you sanity, and hopefully we see you on a Holland America Line cruise soon. Thank you again to my friends at the CruiseWeb, and please follow up with your cruise consultant should you have any questions. Have a great day and thank you.